Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, August 7th. It is a big day in the W. It is the trade deadline. But I know, before we get to that, everyone hold your horses for a moment. We are here on the Her Hoop Stats podcast. If you're watching, you see we have a little bit of a different lineup here. If you are not watching, let me go ahead and give you the deal. It's me, it's Jamie Steyer Johnson alongside Tyler DeLuca, and we have a special guest. We've got Jack Church joining us for us this morning, for you, whenever you're listening. But Jack has just written a really great piece for the Her Hoop Stats newsletter talking about Overtime Select, which is a girls basketball league for some of the top prospects in the country. It is 5-on-5. It is a fairly small group. And you're talking about some of the top players from all over the country, outside of the country even. And it's all available to watch online. You can get there in person if you want to, but online definitely makes it easier. Jack, I'm going to go ahead and let you give people a little bit more information, probably a little bit better information than I've got for him here. But Overtime Select, definitely a super fun way to tap in and get familiar with some of the names that maybe you could be the first one to know in your little circle of friends, because most of these names you're going to be talking about in the next couple of years.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on this morning, Jamie and Tyler. Overtime Select, we're talking about classes of 26, 27, and 28. So most of these players not committed yet, although there are, of course, some exceptions. You know, Sanaya Hall is playing next weekend, obviously number one in the class, committed to USC. But the vast majority of these players haven't committed yet, and that's sort of what makes it exciting, is because you have combinations of players that you've never seen before and maybe will never see again. And it can give you a preview into some of what maybe these college teams could look like. Last year, the tournament was won by Double Dynasty, which had both of the Paldo twins and Anaya Prowl, who are all going to Tennessee, alongside Kate Harpring, who was the MVP of Overtime Select last year, and she's back this year. She's in the class of 2026, the number 4 player. So it's lots of talented players, with 8 teams, it makes for really high quality basketball because you have so many good players. You have 16 top 10 recruits, and 57 of the 70 players are in the top 100. So it's the best of the best going at it for, last weekend, this weekend, and then the following weekend is the championship.
And I know that I was kind of getting my bearings, making sure like I said before we started recording, like it's something that I have heard of, that I've been aware of in passing kind of, but not something that I think to like keep on my calendar, keep on my radar. So I was so excited when we had this piece coming out and when we were going to be talking to you, because it just was a really great reminder. And so I'm sitting here looking, and there's captains for the teams. One of the teams is captained by someone I'm very familiar with in Jenica Lewis out of Iowa here in Johnston, just down the street from me. So someone that I've seen play quite a lot, was a teammate of Eiley Tanky, who's at Iowa State now. And so certainly watched a whole lot of Johnston basketball. And I mean, she's one of those players that came onto the scene really early, was getting offers as early as middle school, has, 40 plus offers now, and is out there just kind of doing her thing night in, night out. And so it's really cool to have this really different format where, like you said, you get these different combos that you may not see again. It's something that like usually is limited to more of the McDonald's All-American games and Jordan Brand, the All-American games. And now they're bringing it to, we're going to expand it. We're going to make it a multi-weekend type thing and let these people try out these different combos and stuff like that. And to have the captains, to have the different classes together, I feel like just brings a whole nother level to it. And it's high level basketball.
Absolutely. I mean, the story of the first weekend was Kate Harpring had 2 incredible games again, and then Aaliyah Spate across 2 games, and then they have this, they call it a bubble breaker. It's a tiebreaker game. It's just first to 15. Across those 3 games, she scored 50 points, including scoring 12 points in that 12 of her team's 15 points in that first 15 game, hitting a game-winning 3. And Aaliyah Spate ranked number 77, maybe someone sort of a little further down, showing off at against the top competition. She was doing really well working with her team. So these are the type of players you have the opportunity to make something out of yourself in these moments, and that's what this quality of competition gives you.
Yeah.
And what I think is so cool about like the evolution of kind of overtime as a whole is if you follow basketball, you know about overtime, right? Like they're one of those kind of outlets that has been so great about making sure they're sharing a lot of content. Like that's how I feel like a lot of these younger recruits break onto the scene, right? Is that'll be maybe the breakthrough sort of post is you'll see these highlights from someone and it's like, "Oh, I haven't heard about that." I mean, I know that happened with Audie Crook. She got posted when she was younger by overtime several times, and that's a lot of how she broke into the public consciousness. And so to take that the next step forward, where you're not just creating content, you're creating opportunities. I think that that's really fun, really important. And especially for people like Tyler and I, we've covered a whole lot of college basketball. When you can get there early, when you can get that
Mhm.
awareness early, it's really really fun to watch them as they continue to develop.
Yeah, absolutely. And something else that I think was interesting is I talked to Sasha Malis, who's the head of Overtime Select, and all, with overtime, that you have the men's league, the Overtime Elite as well, and that runs basically through the season in Atlanta as well. But she talked about just listening to what these players want. They want to play in high school and AAU. They want to win a state championship, and that's something more important, maybe more not more important to them than the men's players, but it's something they talked about is they want to do this, and credit to overtime for working around that. Um, you also have versus as opposed to a high school environment, you have this sort of professional environment. When I talked to Sasha Mullis again, she said that Flaugier Johnson said that the overtime events were the only thing that prepared her for the Final Four in terms of the attention on her and the media and everything that goes along with it. Staying at a hotel and somewhere new. That's a new experience for a lot of athletes as well.
Yeah, I got the chance to go down this summer and last summer, and seeing the facilities and everything that they have there is absolutely ridiculous. Like it is genuinely top notch in what you're getting, and the amount of like professional development, like not only on the court but off the court that these players are getting just by going and spending a month in Atlanta at Overtime Select is actually insane. And when you think about how obviously branding is kind of like NIL and all those things are kind of seeping down into the high school game. Having that level of like professional development in a league like that, where you're also surrounded by all of the other best players, like it is a just gold mine of information and learning both on and off the court in Atlanta. And having all those players all right there is some incredible hoops as well. Like it's some like genuinely competitive, good basketball that's being played in Atlanta.
It's skyrocketing to the top of my like power rankings of places I need to get for sure.
It's
Like I
fun.
know that
It's a good time.
getting to Unrivaled last year was so valuable and so cool to me, and so getting to something like OT that would be really cool. So I'm so glad that we've got Jack here to kind of get us all clued in, and definitely make sure that you're going and checking out Jack's newsletter, which came out today on the Her Hoop Stats newsletter. You can get a whole bunch of information there. That's also presented, co-sponsored by Huddle, which is a new partnership for Her Hoop Stats, which is, I mean, crazy exciting. I'm not going to sit here and like rail about it for 10 minutes, but I definitely could. I am like ecstatic that we're partnering with Huddle. It's going to bring a whole new dimension to our coverage. And then make sure that when you go and you read Jack's awesome newsletter, then you can follow along with the next couple weekends of Overtime Select. That's going to be streaming on YouTube. And then to keep in touch with Jack, to keep up to date with all of your content, Jack, where can people find you?
At Jack W Church, Twitter and Blue Sky, Instagram as well. Though that's more personal. Not a lot. If you want to see, vacation photos and not work, then that's where you can go.
Heck
But
yeah.
Twitter and Blue Sky mainly, and the Her Hoop Stats newsletter, herhoopstats.substack.com.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Jack. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Heck yeah, dude. Overtime Select is so fun. It's so good. Like being there in person, It's you got to get there, Jamie. You really do.
I got like that's it's another one of those like I had these aspirations for the summer of like I'm just gonna travel and go to games and then obviously life. But
It'd be like that. It'd be like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
and like I've wanted to get down to Atlanta for a game so bad,
Yeah.
and that's the
That's what's crazy. I've hit select twice now, but I haven't been able to line it up with the dream game. So
oh.
like I need, yeah, it's a whole thing, But like I gotta make that happen. I gotta get like the double feature going.
Well, and the fact that like even when school starts, I only have class Tuesday through Thursday makes the
That's a
option
long
still.
weekend.
I
That's a
know.
long weekend. I'm just saying.
I
I'm
I
just
I feel
saying.
like I can't think about it that hard because
Yeah.
I'm gonna start making some crazy plays.
Yeah.
Once volleyball season starts, then I'm occupado, then I'm
Yeah.
working, but
Fair enough.
there's some
Yeah.
time before that. Okay, to the
The
task
W.
at hand. The W, yeah.
The WNBA is still playing, right? I think. Yeah.
We're still recording. We're still going. We're not just talking. All right. Yeah. Today's the day, man. It's the trade deadline.
Please give us more things. Like
I will say, at least we've gotten some.
I can't believe it. Like genuinely, like we've had 2 trades, and I'm like, this is the greatest week of my life. Like this is awesome. Like it's actually insane that this is like the standard of the trade deadline in the WNBA, just in terms of craziness. Because when you think about like any like other league, essentially, like I feel like the WNBA trade deadline, like as much as I love this league, lame, boring. Usually, this week is actually like even if it's just 2 trades, it's like 2
Right.
genuine names getting moved. This is way more than we've ever had to talk about at trade deadline. But selfishly, I need more. Give just one
Yeah.
more. Just one more move that excites me.
Give me
Just
one more.
Just one more. Just one more, please. Please.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I mean, as we had discussed a lot coming into the trade deadline, like this was a year that felt like if we're gonna get movement, if we're gonna start to see more activity in the W as far as trades go, this felt like the year because of the contract situation, because of how few people have long-term implications. And so it made a lot more sense to see that movement. I think that what we've seen so far has been really exciting, has already had significant impacts. I posted yesterday, like Dejanay Carrington is such a Cheryl Reeve coded player that it's like actually kind of embarrassing that I never thought about it before.
Yeah.
Like I actually sat there before the game and then watching the game and I'm like, this is the most logical thing that's ever happened. And I was thinking about her play style. I was talking about that with my husband. He's like, I mean, yeah, she played for Tara Vanderveer and Kim Mulkey. I'm like, oh my
I hadn't even
God.
gone that far back, but absolutely. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like this is
I was
like
just like,
it's incredibly Dejanay coded, like to be in, and also like I feel like Dejanay is a type of player, and like this isn't like an inherently bad thing by any means, but it's very much like a reflection of her like surroundings. And I don't know how many better places you could be surrounded by right now in terms of like like the respect that you have like for your teammates, for your coaches, what they've accomplished, what they are aiming to do than Minnesota. And so like I saw people like questioning this move, and I'm like, are y'all? Is everyone okay? Like,
Right.
like is everyone okay? Like you didn't give up much of like what you're using now, and you go and get Dejanay Carrington, who is absolutely a difference maker on the court, and we saw it in like the initial performances. Like, come on, like this is a layup of a move. Like this is it was phenomenal. I like it for both teams, honestly. But like,
yeah,
Dejanay to Minnesota it just adds up. Like it seems like you say it out loud, and it's like, yeah, well, that makes sense. Like, and it's that simple.
Not something I like picked out, you know, like looking at the entire scale of the league, I wasn't sitting there like, yeah, this is the move. But as soon as it happened, I was like, oh, wait, yeah, that actually makes like perfect sense. It is very much like a Minnesota type move where like they're going to do something that isn't necessarily anticipated, but just makes, in retrospect, more sense than basically any option out there. Like ever since Carly Samuelson got hurt, they needed another guard really, really badly. Like I've been wanting to do the actual number breakdown. I have not had a chance to do it because as we know, if I do it, like this is a 8+
It's
hour time
yeah,
commitment.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but my rough math is that most teams average about 2 guards coming in off the bench for around 30 minutes a game. And so for Minnesota without Carly, basically all you had coming in off the bench as far as an actual guard is Natisha Heidemann. And
Mhm.
so you're playing all these forwards at more of like the guard spot, or your guards just aren't getting rest between Kayla McBride, Courtney Williams, sometimes Bridget Carlson playing the guard as opposed to a forward. And so it just they needed a guard. Like I was one who kept saying, "Oh, if they're doing something, I'm guessing it's something for the interior. I'm guessing it's something for the post."
That's
And
where my head was at as well.
that's
Like
more like my personal thing, but also knowing how they play. Like they have the
mhm,
kind of posts they want. Like that's just the way they do it.
mhm.
And so truly looking at it, that is what they would have wanted. Like they're not going to change their entire scheme. What they needed was a little bit more depth, a little bit more production from guards coming in,
Mhm.
and the ability to give some of those guards some rest and not have to play crazy forward heavy lineups, because
Yeah.
hopefully that means that we've seen the end of like Alana Smith, Jess Shepard, Maria Klundakova lineups. As
Mhm.
wild as that is, that's just not the ideal usage for all of those players. It was just
Yeah.
kind of a necessity. So I was very jazzed by that. I thought the Dijonay's first game there was
Really good.
obviously
Really good. Yep.
tremendous. Absolutely love that. And so, I mean, we've kind of gone in retrospect here. Neither
Yeah.
of those teams played last night, nor did they play tonight. But that's sort of the standard we're setting here,
Mhm.
where we've had some really banger trades, and there's certainly
Mhm.
some time for some more. Uh, one of those teams that I think was sort of speculated, was floated out there, was the Phoenix Mercury. A
Mhm.
lot of speculation kind of based off Satu missing a game, which
Mhm.
again, you can only go based on the information that you have. And so when
Mhm.
there's a lot of missing information, you want to
It wasn't
at
a
least
hard
cover your
kinda dot
bases.
to connect, just in terms of, like, the idea of, like, it could, like, not
Yeah.
that there was any, like, strong basis of it, but, like, it could, and, obviously, he's been a player that has, like, asked out before and, like, for, understandably in a lot of ways in Dallas, honestly, but, like, it's like there was enough there to, like, be like, "It's possible." I don't think that's gonna happen, but, like, I could see how we progressed to the kinda social media talk of a potential trade there. It makes sense.
Yeah. At this point, like given the fact that Phoenix plays today,
Mhm.
Thursday, and was off yesterday, you kind of feel like if they were going to make a move, that would have happened yesterday to kind
Probably.
of get that done. I still stand by what I said on Monday, which is I don't think a move would be or would have been bad for Phoenix. I
Mm.
do think that there would be space for them to maybe clear things up a little bit. Just they have the big stars. They have
Mhm.
Ka, they have Satu, they have obviously Alyssa Thomas, and then they have such tremendous role players. I do think that their focus for the rest of the season really needs to be on Alyssa Thomas being the engine, being the focal point. And
Mhm.
so if they're going to make a consistent effort to do that with all of the same pieces they have right now, that's fine. Like that, it's not impossible to do that. But I just really hope that that's something they are locked in on and
Mhm.
focused on, and everyone is really bought into,
Mhm.
which isn't to say again that like I doubt that these players are bought into it
Are,
or are
right, yeah.
capable of being bought into it, but that would be what I would want to see from Phoenix. If they're not making a move, then you still need to be really ensuring that Alyssa Thomas is your major focal point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one of the crazy stats I saw this weekend, I don't know if it's still exactly the same, but last I saw, Satu Sabali was ranked number 2 in the entire WNBA in usage rate, only behind Asia Wilson. And, like, Satu is a great player. She's not number 2 in usage rate like that level. Like, that's not what you're kinda hoping in a way, and that's a lot of what Phoenix based their offense and everything on, honestly, is, like, to a point, it was a little bit of kind of living and dying by how good Satu was playing. And there's been a whole lot of good, majority good in that. That's the reason why they are overperforming preseason expectations in a lot of ways, is because of how good Satu Sabali has been. But if she gets into a slump, like we had kind of seen, or she was kind of coming off injury and all those things, then you start losing games, right? And I don't think it's any coincidence. Obviously, it's against the Sun, it's a grain of salt. But their last game, Satu plays well, they get a blowout. and like the whole team was playing well. And I don't, to me, that's not very coincidental, So it's kind of an interesting balance to try and strike now at this point in the season where Alyssa Thomas has been phenomenal and like certainly is like the engine of this team. But now you have Ka back, and a lot of that usage rate was when Ka was not here. And finding the balance between all this and how you keep Alyssa Thomas with the ball in her hands in the way that you want, where how do you balance the shot attempts, which was about even in that last game between Ka and between Satu, and of course obviously like your role players have been phenomenal this season, have completely overachieved in a lot of ways. So like finding that balance now that everyone is relatively healthy for this team is going to be super interesting for me to kind of keep an eye on as this season progresses. Just again, because they've had a lot of kind of in and out at times, whether it be Satu or Ka or even like a Natasha Mack, right? That was out at the beginning of the season. Like those, like it's important to genuinely build that. Like this is a brand new team, so I'm in. Oh, we just got breaking news.
Oh, it happened. Oh,
Okay, hold on.
missed
Aaliyah
it.
Edwards to the Sun for J.C. Sheldon and the right to swap Washington's first round pick for Connecticut's first round pick from ESPN. Okay.
I guess.
Okay. First initial thoughts off rip here. Mystics getting a point guard. Good. 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 That is good.
Yeah.
Connecticut getting another like forward. I can respect taking the shot on Aaliyah Edwards because like realistically nothing is set in stone by any means. But in like when I was thinking about Aaliyah Edwards like landing spots, I much prefer Dallas just because like there's a bit more room there, like kind of in that four area.
Mhm.
But I also respect the fact that you're going in and taking a shot. Like that's what this time period should be for Connecticut. Um Interesting though. So the picks are Minnesota's and New York's. So they're
Yeah.
basically like right the same pick. Like they're going to
Yeah.
be at the end of the first round. So like they have the ability to swap one spot. Okay, so that's not like incredibly. I mean, it's a spot in the draft, but like it's not when you think of first round pick trades, it's not nearly as like detrimental to a team than you might think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it for
You're still
Washington.
keep yeah. I mean, I like it for I mean, obviously, Aaliyah Edwards just wasn't really being utilized consistently in
Mhm.
Washington for good reason. I mean, just
Yeah, it was
the
just it was a
post
logjam.
room, it just
Mhm.
it was very much so, and especially with being injured, some like just didn't really get her foot in the door there, and
Mhm.
so she's someone who definitely deserves more opportunity to play. And for Connecticut, I mean, you're kind of having like open tryouts right now,
Essentially,
right? Where
which is
you're
which
just
is
saying,
fair.
okay, who fits into what we want to do
Mhm.
going forward, as opposed to having it really be like a win now sort of
Mhm.
situation. And so I don't dislike it. JC, I mean, wasn't getting probably quite as much opportunity as she
Mhm.
could a lot of other places too. So I think, as you said, to get a point guard in Washington doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very it's not what I anticipated as far
Mhm.
as where Aaliyah Edwards could end up. What it says to me is that more than likely other trade options fell through, because that doesn't feel like your number one.
Yeah. To me,
But
that gives off like in my head, and maybe this is just because it's where my preference was. To me, that makes me feel like Dallas wasn't willing to part with any of their first round picks.
yeah,
Whether it be the Vegas pick or like they weren't willing to just like part with that. That's what that kind of gives off to
especially
me.
after hearing reporting that like Dallas was still considering
Yeah, like making some more
adding,
moves.
like that seemed like
That's
the
where my
sort of
head was at. So
telegraphed.
that's
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm not gonna lie, like the more as I'm sitting on it, like again, I respect it from like a rebuild, like just take a shot type of thing from Connecticut. I actually really like it for Washington. Like
Mhm.
it's in that similar vein of like take a shot, but it's also like a genuine positional need that like obviously Georgia Amore out this season, like one of your top picks in this draft, but like it's I like the fact that if you are going to go grab a point guard, it's a very contrasting point guard to the point guard you just drafted. so you
Mhm.
can kind of you get a little taste of different styles and whatnot, as well as essentially Washington is in a similar vein of like open tryouts to a point. They've just been better this season. But they won. That's the thing is that they don't want to be. You need to be in the lottery. So I feel like it's not the groundbreaking Aaliyah Edwards trade I kind of hope for, if I'm being honest. But
At the very
ultimately,
least,
I
it's
get
like
it.
retaining a similar level of like potential consistency in that they're in the same draft class. And so you're trading someone who is still under contract next year for
Hmm.
someone else who's still under
Hmm.
contract for next year, which, as we know, considering everyone else being free agents outside of the rookie scale contracts, that definitely makes a difference. And for these two teams that have new coaches and have very young cores, I do
Mm.
think that it's important to maintain that level of consistency to keep, a
Good
number
point.
of options that you at least can
Hmm.
retain. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like, it's not a
Yeah,
guarantee.
yeah. So I'm interested as well, and this is all just like, I mean, not hypothetical, but kind of hypothetical. But like, I wonder what the Aaliyah Edwards trade market looked like, even from like a contender perspective.
Yeah.
A Minnesota, like obviously, like we were thinking more forward based, like in like maybe just a little bit more size, like someone just to kind of just be in there and work, or like just this like those type of teams, where you're able to kind of take a swing on like a young player, but also can contribute right now, like I just that's not like again, it's not a bad trade. I actually like the fit of JC in Washington. It's just
Mhm.
not the trade I think I had envisioned in my head. But again, like Connecticut had already kind of been, a team that had been talked about. I think partially just because of the Connecticut connection, realistically. But like, yeah, I mean, I guess like, I don't have like a super strong opinion. I guess I just kind of get it from both sides, and like
Yeah.
it's kind of like cool. Like it's just I was hoping when I said one more trade. I was hoping to be a little bit more, have a little more oomph behind it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I guess I got what I asked for ultimately, so I can't be too mad.
Yeah, bare minimum, you got what you were looking for, and
Mhm.
there's still plenty of time. It's 10:30 Central right now, so
Come on,
we could
come
still we
on.
could still see something, but hey, at least we're getting something here in the morning,
Yes.
and so we aren't totally missing all the action
Mhm,
on the day. Before we move on, I want to wrap up our conversation on the Mercury
mhm,
that we derailed real quick, and as you were saying, Satu was at one point second in the league in usage rate. That is no longer accurate
mm.
because she is now first.
Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. So she has surpassed Asia Wilson in usage rate
Oh, keep in
on the
mind, Asia
season.
just like dominated the game last night as well. So like in
Yeah.
terms of like where Satu had to be at and again, she was great in that game, but like that I just don't know. Like like
Satu is one
that's a
of three
lot.
players in the league with a usage rate over 30%.
Mhm,
Those three players being her, Asia Wilson, and Caitlin Clark.
mhm,
Her usage rate is 31.1%. Asia right behind her at 30.9. And then Caitlin in her 13 games this year has had a 30.2 usage
mm,
percentage. Again, especially for a post player, that's very significant to have, the really versatile
mhm.
players that a point guard, you're going to have a pretty high usage rate.
Right,
And Asia Wilson, you're going to have a pretty high usage
right.
rate. Satu is very versatile. She does a lot of things, but I do think that at a certain point, you kind of got to look at that because not only is she first in the league in usage rate, Kalia Copper is ninth in the league in usage rate in her 13 games this
Mhm,
year. And so you have two players in the top 10 in Phoenix on a team that has a lot of heavy hitters, on a team
mhm,
that has a lot of very capable players. And then you have Alyssa Thomas down the line,
mhm.
down at 23. And so, again, Alyssa Thomas should, I think,
Very, very
be
good
higher
basketball player,
there
like in like
because,
in terms of her playmaking and everything. Because it feels like we've kind of seen a shift with Phoenix,
mhm,
like in the sense of I feel like in the beginning of the season we were like, oh my goodness, these role players are like this breakout game and that breakout game and so on and so forth. I feel like we've kind of got a little bit less of that recently, and it's more
mhm,
about the stars. And like that's not an inherently like bad thing or wrong thing. It's just a different way to find success. And realistically, I feel like that doesn't work as often as a team with depth does. And this is not a team that was on paper a deep team, but it had kind of been discovered to be one at the beginning of this season, and it has kind of shifted away from that a little bit. And I don't know if that is the recipe here for that success. And to me, like that's when I look at the Alyssa Thomas usage, and I'm like, well, to me in my head, if AT's usage is higher, that means more than likely way more players are getting involved just because of the player that Alyssa Thomas is. And so I'm interested in kind of seeing how, again, as they kind of for the first time have an extended period where both of like their big three, if you will, is all healthy. Like, how does that kind of even out or play out in like the pie chart of usage rate on the Phoenix Mercury? Like, how does that look? Because I'll be very intrigued to kind of monitor that situation.
And I should say that I will amend it that assist rate is not included in usage rate. And so Alyssa Thomas's assist rate is over 50%, which is absurd.
Wild.
Like disgusting. Like
Yeah.
should not be possible.
Yeah.
So she is very much like consistently involved, but I think it's more about that needs to be evened out. I think some more with I don't think that you should be able to say, yeah, it's going to be Satu and Ka that are going to be taking the majority of shots, and then AT is going to be looking to pass, and then maybe someone else gets something once in a while. I think that Alyssa Thomas should probably be a little bit more on par with the others as far as looking for scoring opportunities. And then when you're looking to get the others on the court involved, if you're talking about like your role players, your additional people that are going to be out there, then that is going to open up a lot more opportunity to get better shots. And so I want better balance from Phoenix going forward, assuming that they're going to have the same roster, which could be the case, could not be the case, but is looking more likely. So interesting there. Kind of anticipated there may be a move, not looking like it, but we've gotten a move today with the Mystics and Sun. The Sun do play tonight at the Sparks. So presumably, did I say Sun or did I say Mystics play at the Sparks? Regardless, I meant the Connecticut Sun play at the Los Angeles
Yeah,
Sparks.
you got it.
Okay,
you got it.
I did.
You got it.
You know,
I had to go look at the schedule. I'm like, let me make sure that I'm also thinking of this right.
It's all together up here for sure. So presumably Aaliyah Edwards will not be with the Sun playing tonight. And so they'll be down a player, but will be there very soon.
Yeah,
and
they
then
play against
tomorrow,
Sunday. I would imagine that Sunday.
Yeah. And then tomorrow the Mystics are at the Lynx, and so you would assume that JC Sheldon will at least be with the Mystics. Unsure if she'll be available, but that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I like
a good time probably to get another body that's going to be able to give you something different for the Mystics when you're going up against the Lynx. You want to be able to rotate people in there. You don't want to be dealing with kind of that log jam. So
yeah,
I'm very, very intrigued. Tonight also Dream at Sky. The Sky were another one that people were
the Sky
speculating, discussing, not looking like we're getting a move probably.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, like here's the thing. I had my thoughts. I mean, it's pretty notably about the Ariel Atkins trade and trading the pick in the lottery that could have been Sonya and so on and so forth. I don't think you want to compile mistakes.
That's fair.
And so, like, as you stand right now, are you where you want to be? Absolutely not. Is there any trade you can make to like fix this season? Unless fees on the board, I don't think so. So like I'm okay with them staying put and kind of licking your wounds a little bit this year, and like it didn't go the way you're supposed to, and you gear up for this, insane free agency and see what you can potentially make shake is probably where I'm at with the Sky.
I think that's really fair. Like at this point in the year, you're not close enough to the playoffs to be making a push for that realistically, especially with their injury situation. So I do think it's very much like, okay, we'll see maybe what the trade market is in the off season
Yeah.
for players that are still under contract, and beyond that, yeah, you see what you can secure, what you can do. Obviously, everyone has the opportunity to really reshape their roster this coming year. So,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have been shocked again by like a Sky move, but not looking super likely. And just given the fact that they do have these injuries, given the fact that
Mhm.
they do have players that are very much worth retaining and building around, I do think that it makes a lot of sense to sort of wait and see what's available on the open market as opposed to the much more limited in season market.
Mhm.
I Yeah, it's they figure some stuff out as they go. Obviously a really great win the other night over the Mystics. And so that makes a big difference. Just with the kind of the tone of being spoken about. Like once you
Mhm.
get a win, once you see things come together and actually end in the W, as opposed to, oh, we're seeing this and they're still coming out with a loss, but it looks better. Like
Mhm.
it definitely is what it is. I don't, yeah, like you said, I think the big thing is there's not any one trade that's going to make enough of a difference this year to force it.
Yeah.
I I don't know. There's a lot that I think could happen. I don't think I'd be surprised if I saw another trade or two here today.
I hope so. I hope so. As the messiest person you know, I sure hope so. Like that's what I want. I'm here for the chaos. Again, 3 trades might be a trade deadline record. So I'm already very happy with how this has gone. But I certainly hope so. I mean, honestly, the team like the trades that I had thought already, like had thought about in terms of like I thought I could see Minnesota making a move, I could see Seattle making a move, and then Aaliyah Edwards was probably on the move. Like
Mhm.
those were honestly like 3 things I saw going into this deadline. And so like all my boxes are checked when it comes to like, okay, this is makes sense as like something that will likely happen in some way. I'm out from this point on, surprise me. I don't got no other boxes to check. Let's get wicked. Let's get wild. Like let's see what happens. So
My
I hope we got more.
my dark horse candidate here is kind of a double feature, and it ties into last night's games, which we'll touch
Mm,
on really, really quick. Game, I suppose.
mhm,
I wouldn't be shocked to see either the Aces or Valkyries make a move.
mm,
Especially considering, you had a game last night, and so maybe you wait to finalize something until today. But Vegas obviously has been talked about ad nauseum. They, especially last night, Kia Stokes playing a minute and a half, Megan Gustafson playing just over a minute. This is against the Valkyries team that doesn't really play a true center,
mhm,
but uh, in a perfect world, yeah, you're getting more from your posts. And so I think that if they could figure something out would be a potential look there. But I also don't know as far as like what that could look like on the trade market. I just wouldn't be shocked to see it. And then for the Valkyries, when you have Kayla Thornton out for the season, Monique Billings has missed
mhm,
significant time, was injured again last night. I think if you could make some kind of move for a little bit more of like a ball not dominant player, a little bit more of a focal point, you might be open to it. But again, I don't have a specific one in mind that I think would make total sense. And so they very well may just be going with, hey, what we have is working
mhm,
fairly well.
mhm.
Bounce back in a big way against Vegas. You go home and you lose by 6 points as opposed to, gosh, however many points they
We'll
lost
take it. It's
last time.
improvement. Yeah.
But they're sort of right on the fringe for a playoff spot. And
Mhm,
so I do think that they have to be having some conversations
mhm.
at the
Yeah.
very least.
I uh, I I could see I just I get intrigued by the teams that it's like you've kind of like the Aces, for example, have kind of used their resources. Like you
Yeah.
go and you use your pick for an Alyssa Smith. Like you, I don't know how much you have left to give, honestly. And I'm
Mhm.
kind of in a similar vein with Phoenix, where I'm like, I don't know how much you have left to give. I will say, I think the one name as I'm kind of just like racking through the rosters of everything and trying to think, one name I'd be interested in seeing, and I've had this conversation. I feel like every deadline for the past like 2 years, 3 years, is Kalani Brown. Um,
Yeah.
as a potential name to be moved. Like just as like she's not really playing in Phoenix. A lot of teams could use size. You're never gonna have like too much size really. and what that could look like. I feel like I've had this conversation every year about Kalani Brown because this was the same sentence I was saying in Dallas. Um, just as a potential name that could be on the move that kind of seems like on like the outside looking in of their rotation, but is like certainly a capable WNBA player and has like a niche usage, if
Let
you will.
me
Yeah,
let me make a
go
pitch
ahead, do your
here.
thing. Mhm,
Kalani Brown,
mhm.
Meg Gustafson.
That's what came to mind initially.
Yeah,
I
someone
don't
that can
know.
spread the floor, shoot the three, like, and if she doesn't play, Kalani wasn't playing much
Yeah,
anyway.
it certainly feels on brand with Phoenix. Like that's where I came to the Kalani conclusion. Goodness,
Mhm.
was thinking like who Vegas could trade for. And certainly Vegas is always kind of. I mean, getting size is always kind of the talking point for Vegas. That is able to contribute. I don't hate it. I don't know how the money and everything works out off the top of my head, and if it would work. I majored in words, not math, But like I can see it. Like I think it makes sense for both sides.
There's like
Just
a
just a
$30
name to throw out.
million difference in contract
Mm,
between Meg and Kalani, so they'd have to make a little bit of some shift, I think, but
mm,
it feels like something that's close enough that you could potentially make it work. The thing with Vegas is that like the pregnancy exemption for Cheyenne and
true.
stuff like just
Yeah,
makes it a little bit too
it's
much for me.
complicated.
Like
Yeah.
I can do the basic math, but
Mm,
then when you throw in like rules and wrinkles, I don't know. It's
mhm,
fun. But
mhm,
that yeah, I Kalani has been the one that I kind of been waiting to see. Okay, do they make something cook with her?
mhm.
But yeah, I don't know.
That's
I don't
that's the
know.
first thing that came to mind. Like I said, all pretty much all my like check boxes of things that like I felt could happen, have pretty much come and gone at this point. So like I'm pretty well satisfied. Like and in terms of like what I thought was a possibility, have all come true. So I look, man, if I can manifest like this, I need to be doing like way more important things. But like I'm glad that all my trades that I thought could possibly have come to fruition in one way or another. So I'll take it.
Well, all right. But you work on that manifestation,
I
Tyler.
will try.
We look forward to hearing what exactly you're manifesting there. Uh, I have to give a quick shout out. I've got my Valkyries gear on today
Oh,
that
sick.
I came out to the kitchen to find this morning
Mm.
because today is my 4th wedding anniversary, and
Oh.
so this and a coupon for a WNBA player's signature shoe of my choice.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
yes. So, Christian knocked it out of the park today. The
Alright.
husband in question that is out here, giving context that neither of us were thinking about with,
Okay.
the Dejanay trade. Man, he
Shout out to Mr. Husband.
yeah,
Shout out to him. Way to
he's
go.
out there. He's all about it. Yeah. I try to give him credit when it's stuff that like he mentioned to me
Mhm,
because it's frequent. So I'm like,
mhm.
I can't have people thinking that I'm really that locked
We gotta
in.
keep the
Like
bar where it needs to be, like
exactly,
mm,
exactly. Like I
mhm,
gotta have
mhm,
realistic expectations and make sure
mhm.
people know that not all of this is my original thought because I could never. But yeah, so big anniversary shout out, Christian.
Mm,
Love you. Thank you for being into the W and for the shirt of our adopted team. I love it.
there
All
you
right,
go.
Tyler, for you, where can what do you got cooking? What do you got coming up, man? I know you
Dude,
always have
I
something
just be around.
interesting.
I just be
Tease
around.
something.
I just be around. Look, honestly, just be tapped in on the socials. Like, I honestly, right now, I don't have any trips or anything booked as of now. I think we're kind of
Ah!
because we gotta we'll see come playoff time. But then when college season gets here, Lord knows where I'll end up.
Oh,
So
oh,
that's
true.
that's where it really gets wicked if we're being honest. Like the W season, it was actually the generally calm time, which is insane. But like, yeah, so just be tapped in. At Tyler DeLuca, pretty much anywhere you can find me.
All right, folks. Find Tyler DeLuca. You can find me everywhere at JSteyz, JSTEYZ, and make sure that you are subscribe to Her Hoop Stats. They are at Her Hoop Stats on any platform you'd be looking, and you can subscribe to the newsletter. Newsletter came out today from Jack Church as we started off the episode with talking about Overtime Select, and we've got them coming out pretty much daily. A whole lot of content, mostly W stuff going forward. Again, make sure you are checking out herhoopstats.com. That's got all of our stats, our analytics, and certainly we'll be even expanding some new stuff with that new partnership with Huddle. Shout out Huddle. Again, I couldn't be more excited about that. So we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you are tapped in tomorrow for discussion on anything else that may happen today, which inevitably will be something like the second we quit recording right
Probably.
here. But yeah, we've got episodes coming every weekday. So one more tomorrow on Friday. And then we'll be back at you next week. Thanks, guys.